For this study, we're going to look at some different concepts or applications for finger tapping. Now, normally for finger tapping, we sort of assume something like this. Which is sort of the typical sort of 80s finger tapping that Eddie Van Halen introduced and just took to amazing heights, which is really, really stunning, but let's not reflect too much on there. And just if you want to learn it one, by the way, if you're not sure, I'm just going to show you quickly. I'm tapping at fret 12. And also notice that I'm tapping with my middle finger. I'm holding my pick normal. And the reason why I'm not doing this and tapping like this is because if I'm doing a solo and I suddenly want to tap, there's my pick, and I'm doing a solo. And I suddenly want to tap, so I have to now switch my fingers around, bring my hand down. That's very awkward, it takes time, so I like to tap with my middle finger and keep my pick there. So it's a nice way to change quickly from a picking technique to a tapping. Now, first of all, let's get back to that exercise, like I said, just for those that don't know that or would like to learn it. It's tapping fret 12, like we said. Finger 1 and pinky finger 4 are in frets number 5 and frets number 8. Okay, so we're going to go. Lift the pinky for starters, tap, flick it off, so the 5 is sounded, pinky comes in. So those first 3 notes again, tap, flick off to 5, hammer on to 8. Then I leave it at 8, tap again, flick off to 8, pull off to 5. So slow motion, you're going to have something like this. And that sounds quite cool. It's a nice sort of typical arpeggio. That's actually, for example, the notes A, C, and E, which happens to make up the chord A minor. So if I play an A minor chord like this, for example, I can actually hear the notes over here. Actually make up the chord quite nicely. But for now, back to overdrive. Okay, back pickup always kicks quite nicely for a bit of distortion overdrive. And let's look at what other things we can do. Now, we started with this basic technique. Okay, and now we're going to start moving the middle finger here. So we're going to go fret 15 to fret 12. Now notice I'm not doing this because that's noisy. You can hear the strings sliding with the hand. So the finger's actually jumping. You can see the finger going there. You can see the fingers moving backwards and forwards. Now, when we go to the next string, I'm going to keep 5 and 8 with the fretting hand, and I'm going to tap now 15 and 13. It's going to sound like that. Now, there must be a reason to how we chose those notes. How did I know 15, 12, 15, 13? And if I went to the next string, 14, 12, 14, 12, for example, how did I know those notes? Now, getting back to scales, you'll hear in a lot of my videos I say, scales, scales, please learn your scales. Okay, this is based largely on the pentatonics, and I'm playing in the key of C major, A minor, so A minor pentatonic, you're familiar with this, I'm sure. And backwards. Now, what I want us to try now is to play this through, but with one hand. So check this, I'm going to put my hand here, and I'm going to start there, and I'm going to go. Sort of difficult ascending, but on the descending with the pull-offs and hammer-ons, it actually works quite nicely. Same scale backwards, and you'll notice I'm not using him. Okay, so he's going to do my position 1 of the A minor pentatonic scale. Now, assuming you know your other pentatonic scales, here's position 2, position 3, and now we're going to position 4, but I'm not going to play position 4 like this. I'm going to play it with my middle finger again, keeping the pick here. Okay, so your pick hasn't left the position between the thumb and the first finger. It's very important there, because if you're jamming in the band, I haven't got time to put the pick down, pick it up. I don't really want to sop it around like that. There you can see it hiding over there, and bring it back. I don't want to sit and do magic tricks like that. I want to stay in performance mode. So I'm going to tap it out with this middle finger. So that position 4, I'm going to tap out. This is going to mute. Okay, now I'm assuming that in order to do this, you first of all do know your scale positions in the key of C, A minor. These are pentatonic positions. I will include a PDF file for you with the scale shapes as well. And I will actually have videos, if you look at my YouTube site, of the pentatonic positions if you want to learn them. But for now, we're looking at tapping and we're seeing how we can get out of the typical sort of that type of vibe into creating something a bit more maybe bluesy or a bit more rocky or metal, but not the standard type of tapping. Now, what I hope that you picked up over here was that I'm using 2 minor pentatonic positions in the same key. Position 1 was from here, and I tapped out position 4 around here. Okay, so what I can do now is if I'm doing a solo, I can actually tap the notes from the scale, so I'm not just tapping randomly. I know where to tap because I'm visualizing position 4 over here while visualizing position 1 here. So I'm keeping 2 scales in mind at the same time. And there's a nice way to do a slide as well, that little phrase. And you can start like that. You can see from this angle over here. I went a bit further down here, that was into position number 3, just for by the way. But what I'm trying to say over here, the important goal to get out of this is to know and visualize your different scales all at the same time. And that's quite a nice way to get very large intervals. Instead of going, and that was virtually impossible, okay? It's much easier to go, and let your tapping actually become a way to get large interval phrases. And you can put little slides there, for example, like that. And all I'm doing up close is just tapping and sliding. And it's nice little ways to actually sort of improve your soloing. Okay. Nice one to get around. Very 80s and retro, but obviously depending on your phrasing and depending how you wanted to add tapped harmonics that we did in the previous video. That's different. There you can see I didn't keep my finger down and now. And there I do keep it down. Okay, so it's very different ways of doing it. If you want to see the tapped harmonics, refer to the other video. But I hope you're enjoying this over here. I'm happy maybe stealing a riff or two as well. There's not that much in riffs, it's more about the idea. Your goals for this video is to get to basic finger tapping, to basically get to know how to finger tap, and then to realize that you can play 2 scales at the same time as you're working through like that. Lastly, with the large intervals, now interval means a big distance from the one note, from the A to the C to the E. It's a large interval where A, B, C would not be a large interval. They'd be close intervals or small intervals. Now A, C and E make up A minor. Cool. So this over here isn't just a finger tapping. That's an A minor arpeggio. If we know our chord structure, the only difference between F, okay, and A minor is 1 note. If you look at A minor, it's A, C, and E. And if you look at F, it's A, C, F, or more appropriately, F, A, C. Okay, but the notes are still the same. So if you got a song, for example, and your chord progression goes from A minor to F, what you could do is something like this, which is quite cool. You maybe then want to go to a D minor, which is D, F, A. And you can actually bold, it gets a bit of a stretch there, drop the thumb for that, your thumb's going low. If you know your chord structure and you know the notes in the chord structure, have a look for how close the chords are to each other. And when we say how close the chords are to each other, we mean what are the notes in the chord? Because you might think, well, hold on, A is over here and F is down here. That's not close, it's 4 frets away. It's actually very close. It's only 1 note that's separating it. A, C, E, A minor, A, C, F is F major, obviously an inversion of that. But it's good to know your theory. It's good to get to understand what are the notes in the chords. So I hope you find this useful. If you've got any theory questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call. I'll be more than happy to help. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed some new ideas, some ways to get around. And to sign off, here's one of my personal favorites, which is quite a nice little trick. Basically, all I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the trill over here. Okay, you're going to see how long we can stay for. And then we're going to take the middle finger. Pick is still in its normal position. I'm going to stress that again. And check the slow motion. And all that's really happening there, slow motion, is I'm going, taking him off, and there you go. And these notes are also not random. They're part of my C major scale. So this over here, as you go down, will be the notes E, F, G, A. So it's that sounds pretty cool. And then if you want to get really fancy, when you get to here, and you can get the pinky working as well. That sounds pretty cool, and it's a nice visual trick for those live shows. So I wouldn't necessarily do that for a studio recording, but when you got a gig and there's a whole lot of people all enjoying the vibe and you want to show off a little bit, it's a nice little game to play as well. It sounds pretty cool, it looks good, and yeah, it's fun to do. And music playing is all about fun, it's about enjoying. So I hope you have an awesome week and you enjoy your guitar. Take care.